Welcome to No Crime, No Time. I'm Danny, also known as RD, and this is your Blackout. I encourage you to do your own research and just relax and let's chat together. Allow your mind to look at the bigger picture of the case. So, you guys, we're going to be talking a lot about DNA, especially victim DNA, the lack thereof, and so forth, and what that all adds up to really mean to us, as well as we're going to be digging into unique placements of individuals that just, it's too much of a quinky dink, it's too much of a coincidence to sit right in your gut that this person happened to be in the place that they are. So I'd like to just start off with Kathy Williford. Now, Kathy Williford, according to Angela Schuster, who worked for Auto Trader, Kathy Williford was supposedly, allegedly, DEA agent, drug enforcement agent. And it's interesting because Kathy Williford was literally on the route, Stephen Avery's route, prior to Terasa Halbach. You know that this DEA agent is not working for Auto Trader because she needs the hustle shots. It's just not fathomable. It's just not. And so it leaves a sour feeling as to how much this DEA agent is now, run the route as a secure agent with experience under her belt to be undercover. And indeed she is. She even had accompaniment with her at times. And then later the role she plays in, really putting emphasis and even misguiding people into believing that Teresa said the things when really it was Kathy Williford that was making things seem a certain way with Stephen, if you get what I mean. Like he had just got a swimming pool, and so he came to the door in a towel. Well, yeah, because he'd been swimming, so he threw on a towel instead of coming in swimming trunks. He threw on a towel too. But she makes that, stretches it out, and really puts such a bad lighting on Stephen, basically to feed fear is as the, how can I put this in a strong way, as the agenda, the intent with the fear. So then you have to ask, so TH takes over from Kathy Williford, a DEA agent. Then, according to Tom Pierce, TH's Green Bay boss, he reported that TH told him October 31st would be her last night to work for Auto Trader. See, the two together start putting a completely different light on this position that TH is falling into. Now, it's interesting also the position that Tom Pierce plays now with Alzheimer's. I'm not saying he doesn't have it. I'm just saying it's one of those, what are the chances, right? So let's talk about the RAV a little bit. So the RAV4 was considered to be locked, reported to be locked in all manners, no matter who had contact near the RAV, from Pam Sturham to Wiegert to Factbender to Remiker to everyone, that this RAV was locked. And nobody has the key when the vehicle is found on the 5th. The key isn't produced according to law enforcement until the 8th, so 3 days later. However, on the 6th, just 1 day later, so 2 days before the key is found, the RAV4 arrives almost 2 hours late at our crime lab, state crime lab. And according to Ronald Groffey, who is taking the ensuite pictures, the first initial photographs of everything before anything is touched, he said the driver's door is unlocked. So, that's, what are the chances, right? Now, I want to, Let me see. I want to mark some of these off so I don't miss one, because I tried to put a few of these thoughts together so I'm not rambling on for days. This whole idea, let me get to this Rab one, because there was something about the Rab. Yes. There's a whole section I wrote. So this is so strange to me. So Bobby Dassey has access to Stephen's blood in the sink. And the reason is because Bobby Dassey is family and can get past Bear, the dog. Okay? Bobby Dassey knew Stephen cut his finger. He knew Stephen went in the house. So he had knowledge of the blood to be near a sink, because logically, you're dripping blood, you're going to get to the sink, either the kitchen sink or the bathroom sink. Now, put that together with the fact that Bobby is seen by the mailman at 4 o'clock in the morning on the 3rd, or was it the 4th, or the 5th, whatever. I guess it was the 5th. I'm sorry. My mind slipped for a moment. So on the 5th, very early morning, the postman is now seeing Bobby pushing the blue Rav onto or towards the Avery property, right? So not only does Bobby have access to Stephen's blood, fresh blood, he has access to the blue Rav. Interesting enough, Blaine reported Bobby passed Blaine on a school bus with Bobby driving a green Ford Ranger. And Scott Tadych, coincidentally, owned a green Ford Ranger. What are the chances? Now, Scott Tadych tried to sell Dassey's gun, one of the Dassey boys' gun. Bobby's truck is crushed, and Scott's trailer is labeled abandoned by Link and burned to the ground in Wausau. So what do these items have in common? Why would Scott try to sell a Dassey gun? Why would Bobby's truck be crushed? And why would Scott's trailer be abandoned or even labeled abandoned by Link? And why would it have been burned to the ground in Wausau? The only thing that doesn't match here, you've got Scott trying to sell Dassey's gun, and then you have Bobby's truck being crushed, and then you have Scott's trailer being marked abandoned. When you look at that, it almost looks like it would have been like a clue game. Like, we'll take Dassey's gun, we'll put it in Scott's trailer, and we'll use Bobby's truck to, like, something with the victim. And then we get rid of as much evidence as we can. I mean, it just seems strange for this to be the mom's boyfriend. And he's going to all this lengths at that time because he's not married to her. Now, if you go with what Barb said in the beginning, and what Scott was trying to lead us to believe, was that he started dating Barb in October. But one of the older Dassey boys did point out that their relationship had been going on for 6 months prior to October. So that puts us back in the spring. As long as we're talking about ex-boyfriends, what are the chances they go get Teresa's ex-boyfriend to lead him through Scott Blowdorn, the roommate's apartment or home, right? To show and point out and guide law enforcement to collect personal victim DNA from her home. What is the ex in that position for? I mean, what are the chances, right? What are the chances? So, Scott Tadych claims he's hunting behind Avery's. So, I started looking around. What's behind Avery's? Well, what's behind Avery's, if you're looking at it from behind, like, the houses, if you were looking at the front of the houses and stuff, would be the gravel pit, deer camp, Cuss Road. So is that a way of Scott Tadych omitting a confession that he was in the area where we found pelvic bones? Or, think about it this way. Another way to look at it. Bushman, deputy detective, whatever you want to call him, comes out of retirement. Now, keep in mind, he's the original 1985, one of the arresting officers of Stephen Avery, the first wrongful conviction. He finds a shallow grave, according to his report. And Zellner's confirmed that. Down around Deer Camp, Cuss Road. And yet Scott Tadych claims he's hunting down there. So there's kerf marks and cut marks on the pelvic bones found in the quarry. Has anybody looked at the photographs to see the kerf marks and compared them to see if bear tools were used? Because I'm just saying, what if it's a bear hunter? Scott Tadych is a bear hunter. I mean, if you want to shift it a little bit here, you get this other weird thing with the RAV too. Just grabbing off the whiteboard, random stuff, jumping all over. Earl says he pulled up trees with the roots to replant them that day on the 4th. So then Earl on the 5th gives Pam Sturm the okay for her to go search in the salvage yard for the RAV, which, what does she find? The RAV4 with trees with roots covering the front of it. Interesting, isn't it? And Earl said he drove by that area with that golf cart and never saw the RAV there. Yet the golf cart gets hit on by the cadaver dogs. Funny, huh? So does a bucket and a shovel. I don't really get it. I mean, it looks pretty clear to me what's going on. I don't know if you guys are putting this all together. I've got some more things to go over. It might be a little bit longer today. Scott Tadych being asked by Zellner to contact the Boutwell family. So they answered, yeah, they'd do it. So according to Barb and Scott, when they're giving their testimony to law enforcement who are re-questioning them after Zellner questioned them back in 2016 or 2017 there, Scott Tadych is being asked, or reports that he was asked by Zellner if the Boutwell family would consider releasing Carmen Boutwell's cremains, to be tested against the pelvic bones found in the quarry. Now, the redirect that I'd like to give you is, why is Zellner asking Scott Tadych? And the answer is given, and that is that Scott Tadych obviously knows the Boutwell family, because he came back with the answer, yes, they will. And then the bones are missing. We can't test them against the pelvic bones because those were given to the family, right? What are the chances? What are the chances that the man who was awarded many accolades and created this law to protect and preserve all biological evidence related to a crime that resulted in a guilty verdict is the actual one to sign away those bones? Even after he agreed to release them to Zellner, and he was in on that meeting, and knew that the defense had requested them, and he had agreed to them. What are the chances, right? What are the chances that TH is stabbed, choked, raped on Stephen's mattress, yet her DNA isn't found in the trailer? What are the chances that TH used her key to drive her car, but there's no DNA found on her key? What are the chances that TH drove her car for 2 years and left none of her DNA in the car? What are the chances that the identity of the pap smear has nothing to back it up to prove anything of who it is? So the ID is unknown. What are the chances that the pelvic bones were never tested through DNA, so we don't know if they're the victims or not? How did Teresa drive her car for 2 years and not leave DNA in that car? How did she use her key and not leave DNA on that? How was she stabbed, choked, raped, even in Stephen's trailer, and left no DNA? How was she shot 11 times in the garage and left no DNA? How does Terasa Halbach exist and leave no DNA in places such as her car, Stephen's bedroom, or the garage? Better yet, how did Teresa's glasses get found at the edge of Dassey's driveway for evidence? Why was Ken Kratz so damn surprised and that it was such a good match with only 7 loci matching to the bone? Why is he surprised it's a good match? It should have been a really good match. Especially it should have matched the mitochondrial DNA, which it did not. It just couldn't rule Teresa out. Yeah. You're probably asking the same thing I am. What are the chances? What are the chances that we have minute, tiny fragments of bones, hundreds of bones in this case, that are supposedly the victims, but not one tooth? No. But what are the chances her dentist is named Dr. Smiley? What are the chances that the guy that looked up and researched the Sikiki note, which was a form of a cryptic riddle, if you will, what happened to be last name Riddle, right? What are the chances that the Attorney General, Peg Lautenschlager, who informed Stephen that no one in the county or anywhere else had done him wrong, later was proven wrong, was proven that indeed there was malicious intent from the county, and it made Peg Lautenschlager not look very well, right? Put her in a very shady light. But what are the chances? Who succeeded her was Josh Call, her son. Yeah, that's why we couldn't get anywhere with Scott Walker. What are the chances that Culhane, Sherry Culhane, at the lab there testing that bullet, coughs on the bullet, and she told everybody that the defense couldn't watch that testing because they might contaminate the control. Well, she contaminated the control herself. And what's worse, she claimed it was because she had students in the room. So you can't let the defense in, but you can let in random students who made her nervous. And so that's why the control was ruined. No more testing that little bullet, huh? What are the chances that Sherry Culhane knew to fill out the deviation report that's once in a lifetime going to happen before the incident actually occurs? Well, let me see. We're gonna wrap this up. I'm leaving you with this little thought process. So the hood latch is consistent. The swab from the hood latch is very consistent with saliva because of its high consistent and content of DNA. It's a very strong sample, matching a saliva take. Isn't it interesting that Wiegert took Stephen's Mountain Dew that he had just finished drinking out of his hand when he arrested him on November 9th? And then last but not least, what are the chances that everybody that is around this woman, all these males, even some females, are suspects? What are the chances? They all work graveyard, so they're around in the day when she goes missing and so forth. But what are the chances that nobody else was ever investigated? What are the chances? I'd say $36 million chance. Love you guys. Bye for now.